Welcome to Outlaw Woodworking. Come on in, let's make something. Okay, today we're actually going outside, and one of the tools that I use on my little property is my excavator. And recently I've been doing these 30-minute round trips up to the top of the mountain, and I've had trouble with my one track. You'll put it both in forward, and one track will drive faster than the other track. So you're constantly trying to compensate for that. And I've made a few phone calls to Bobcat, and I've talked to a few other guys, and I went all over the internet looking for an answer to this problem that I was having, and I really couldn't find anything. And then recently I talked to the service rep at Bobcat where I get a lot of my supplies and parts and stuff. And he said, "Oh, you better bring it in. We need to hook up pressure pressure gauges to each of the lines and test, and you might have some kind of clog or problem or something." And I thought, boy, that's going to be expensive. And then another friend of mine said, "Just sell it." And I'm like, I don't want to sell it. I use this all the time for logging and firewood and bringing down logs and lifting them up and cutting them. Anyway, I decided to just take matters into my own hands, and I pulled off the two sticks that control the forward and reverse. And what I found was underneath they had these two plates right there. I'll put an arrow right here to the two plates. So I pulled the bottom plate off, I pulled the sticks off, and I started looking around to see what was going on down here. Now, if you own one of these excavators and you ever run into this trouble, you should always check this first. Now right here, I didn't see anything on the very top of these plates, so I pulled these boots off, and I was trying to see if there was some kind of adjustment underneath. But it turns out that on top of these two plates right here, there's an Allen screw front and back. Now you see this one right here is loose and this one's tight. So I thought, oh, there's something going on here. And once I kind of cleaned them up a little bit, I realized that there was, like I said, there was an Allen screw front and back on both of these, and one stick was tight, and then the other one was kind of loose. So I cleaned out the inside holes, and then I got the right size Allen wrench, and I proceeded. So basically, the left side was pretty tight. So I decided, well, I'm going to adjust this right side with these Allen screws to see if that solves the problem. And anyway, I basically tried to adjust them so they were both identical as far as their tightness. And yeah, so this little project that I thought was going to be a major deal, and I was worried about what was going to happen to my excavator, turned out to be a 10-minute job, and it fixed the whole thing. And now it's back to running really nice. And today we're also going to change oil, and it's a rainy day, so I figured this is the chance to do some of the servicing on the excavator. But if you have one of these excavators, I wasn't able to find this information on the internet, so hopefully it helps somebody. And yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. So hopefully that's all it is. Basically what I did was this one, the left side seems to be pretty tight, just a little loose, and the other one was really loose. So my hope is that I can put this thing back together. Actually, I'm going to put the plate back on first, and that'll fix it. So basically what we had to do today is it's getting ready to rain, so we got a couple things we're going to do. One of the things that was bothering me was the sticks. One track would go faster than the other track, and I didn't really know what was causing it. But I think after doing a little research, it appears that these levers have Allen screws that actually hit the plunger. And basically what that does is it creates the flow of the hydraulic fluid to the motors on the tracks. So what I think was wrong was I noticed when I took these off one of them was a lot looser than the other one. So I basically, I adjusted them so that they were both the same, or pretty close to the same. That one could use a little more. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it all back together, and I'm going to start it up, and we're going to test it, see how it does. And then the next thing we need to do is we're going to change oil in the excavator. So yeah, let me get this put back together. Now, when I went to Bobcat, I talked to the guy about this, and he said, you know, he didn't say anything about this adjustment on the sticks. And he said, yeah, you're going to need to bring it in, and we're going to have to do pressure tests and stuff like that. And, you know, that would cost me a lot of money. So hopefully this is going to be the key. This will work, and that will save me a lot of money. And I'm all about, I don't mind doing my own maintenance. You know, it's, I've always been kind of a, you know, work with my hands type of guy, and I don't mind getting dirty trying to fix something. So, matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, or it might have been about a month, the bottom motor underneath the seat, there's a motor down there with a hydraulic pump on it that basically takes care of all your lower stuff, your tracks, your front loader, your speed, and your rotation of the whole unit when you want to rotate. And that pump down there, it actually came loose. It has 4 big bolts holding it on a steel frame, and all the nuts were off. And I ended up, I didn't even notice it, but my wife saw a drip under the excavator, and I haven't really had any leaks on the excavator. It's been pretty solid, but I didn't like that little drip, so I opened it up, and that's when I found out that pump motor was loose in there. All the bolts were still in the holes, so I ended up going out and getting some grade 8 bolts and double nutting it, and then checking all the hoses under there, and it stopped the leak. Okay, that works there. Now I'm gonna have to get some new ones of these rubber boots because they are really brittle. Okay, next up the rubber mat. The nice thing about working on stuff yourself too is you learn a lot more about your machine. And it's usually the same type of things that, you know, go wrong from time to time. So once you, let's just go this way, yeah. And once you figure out a few things, you're not scared to take it apart, you know. I'm hopeful that this solved the problem. I do not know for sure, but we will find out. Now right now you can see these two are perfectly level. And before, what was happening is I noticed that one of these was like up like that. And that could have a big difference. But yeah, let me put these tools away. We will fire it up and we will test it. Okay, so I need to hurry up before it starts raining. Need to pick up a few of my tools. Well, I'm going to cross my fingers that this works. stick repair worked perfectly, so that's one less thing. The next thing we're going to do is change the oil and see if we can't get this thing back up and running really nice. Now this particular excavator takes 9.1 quarts oil. A little dusty. Now you can see the filter's at an angle right here, so you don't want to take that off first. You want to make sure and drain all your oil first. And it's got a plug. Now if you can see that plug right down there at the bottom. It's hard to see, I'll put an arrow towards it, but that's where I'm going to loosen it up and basically drain out this oil. And there you can see it's draining. Now what I want to do is let some air in there. All right, next thing I'm going to do is loosen up this oil filter. Okay, we'll let that finish draining out for a little while. Well, I'm really happy that I got those the sticks fixed. I was worried that was going to be an expensive repair, and it turned out to be less than 10 minutes to fix it. So it's nice to kind of, you know, check some things before you you know, take it into a shop. You can kind of do some investigation, try to fix things on your own. It's funny, I just cleaned this whole engine like probably 2 weeks ago, and it's the property that I live on during the summer. The dirt can get really dry and powdery, and it gets everywhere. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to finish changing my oil on my excavator, and hopefully this little repair on the stick levers, hopefully that'll help someone if you have that same problem. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, and I will see you next time. Later.